yeah, we do look at things like injuries. We go as far as to look at birthdays. You're like, oh, he's gonna go off because it's his birthday, or it's his daughter's birthday, or he just had a kid. You know, that motivates people. So you got to think about everything that goes into it. Even like right now, we got playoff runs. Everybody trying to get their seeding right and shit like that. So it's like, if the Mavs are 11 seed, they got their back against the wall, they're trying to get in the plan.
Gotcha.
You expect Kyrie to drop 30.
Yeah.
You feel me? But if they number 2 seed and they trying to preserve their star players,
energy,
I'm taking Kyrie for the under. But everybody else is like, it's Kyrie. It's like, you got to slow down before you go in there. You got to figure out all the factors and then make your best prediction based off that.
What's good, world? Back for another episode of COSIGN Conversations podcast. We're here in Houston, Texas. Shout out to my guy Compound Films for letting us shoot at his location. I'm here with a Houston icon. I'm gonna say a Houston GOAT, literally. You know, we're here with GOAT Vic, entrepreneur, investor, hustler. Now you're in the hospitality space, man. Thank you for your time, brother. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I really just rolled out of bed, but I mean, it's cool. We can get going.
It's all good. I'm glad you made it. So I'm going to tell you a little about COSIGN, man. We've been around for a while. We focus on entrepreneurship, and everything's about a COSIGN, right? So just like if somebody helped get a car or student loan, they had to have that COSIGN if they didn't have any credit. That's what we do. We COSIGN entrepreneurs, creatives, etc. So I kind of want to start our conversation with, you first started off with clothing, right?
Yeah.
All right. Who was the first person? Do you remember the first person to COSIGN you when you were doing your clothing line?
As far as like
they were like, man, like they saw you and they were like, bro, your clothes really dope, man. Like I'm rocking with you, and like either whether wore it or told people about it, like was one of your biggest first advocates.
I think my biggest first advocate was Mona Leo.
Okay.
Leandra. So that's like my little sister.
Okay.
You know, back in the day, I think she was trying to start a brand too, and she would come to all my events, and she was like the first person that hit social media. It was like, for the Leaux, that was the name of my brand. She was like, for the Leaux, the next Supreme.
Dope.
And people started coming for her like, nah, that ain't it, you know? But I seen that, and I'm like, I might have some really going with this brand. So, I don't know, I feel like she was one of the first people to really like stamp it on some shit, you know?
Man, speaking of that, like, how do you deal with that when people were like, I don't know if he's right there or he's at that level? Like, how do you deal with that negativity?
I mean, LeBron get hate, you know?
All the time.
And he's the best in the world, scoring champion. But, you know, you still go to his comments and you see people, oh, his rings don't count and he do this, he be crying. Like, man, people gonna have their opinion 24/7.
Right.
But as long as you working 24/7, it don't matter.
Nah, for sure. I like that. Definitely like that, because, you know, we're in this social media age, man. People get so caught up with negativity, man. They let one comment ruin their day.
Yeah.
Have you seen a comment that you were like, all right, man, I might have to go see this person? Or are you just like, or you always just brush it off?
I feel like I'm seeing like social media from a different perspective now.
Okay.
A lot of people, they see it from like the audience level. So if somebody in the audience throws something at your head, you're going to be looking around. You're going to be hot.
Right.
But if you're on stage and you see everything that's going on, you're like, they just don't know what's going on. They just don't understand, you know? So like if somebody's, you know, has something to say about me, I can see it from like where they coming from. You know? I'm like, oh, you just hurt.
Gotcha. That's
or,
real.
oh, you just not where you want to be in life. That's where that's coming from. You know what I mean?
It's more personal thing. Yeah, it has nothing to do with me.
Exactly.
I've seen a lot of interviews. You have a great perspective, bro. And there's questions that I'm not gonna lie, I want to stay away from because you already answered them. Like, you know, making multi-million in clothing. Right. But my thing I want to ask you around that, because this conversation right now is around for the Leaux, is what your mindset or what triggers you to know, like, okay, if I can go from selling $10,000 worth of clothes to 100,000, I could do $1 million. Like, what did you change differently around those, like, say, those two critical time frames? Because everybody's first like, man, I want to get at 10K. Right. Then it's like, man, let me get 100. Then it's $1 million. So did your mind change or anything change around those two pivotal points?
It kind of happened like so fast to the point where I wasn't able to structure a plan.
Okay.
One thing led to another, and it kind of caught fire. You know, but you know, they always say money is like, it's a game of numbers.
Right.
You want to make $1 million, you got to make 100K 10 times.
Facts.
You want to make 100K, you got to make 10K 10 times.
Right.
So halfway through my account, I'm looking at the dashboard. I'm like, we had an M.
Damn.
You know, and like I said in all my interviews, I don't spend money on ads. It was just more so word of mouth and creating really good content on Twitter. That was like my main platform at the time. I just kept steady going viral, and the shit was selling like hotcakes.
Do you use ads now?
Nah, I still don't.
Still don't do ads? Do you, what's your thought on ads? Because I mean, social media now, Facebook, Instagram, is like pay to play, right? If you really want to get your audience, you're gonna have to pay for them. So outside of, I guess making like creative content or viral content, what's your I guess your blueprint?
See, the way I see it is like, I understand it's pay to play, but think of it like an event.
Okay.
You know, civilians got to pay. The celebrities walk in through the back door.
You feel dropping chips today.
So I feel like if you're really good at what you can do and you're bringing value to that platform, then you don't got to pay.
Right. That's
You're so good at playing. You know what I mean?
That's a gem.
Yeah.
That's a bar. And that's what you do, bro. You provide value. I think when I first got aware of you, you were, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're still heavy on it, but you were really like heavy focused on the car game, the car rental space. That's kind of like when I first kind of like caught wind what you were doing. And then I saw for the low and I saw the clothes and I'm like, this is fire. But it's like everything that you've entered, every space, it's like you mastered it. Right? So how do you do that? Because like people are seeing it as it goes. Like, let's say you're on like sports betting, you're on that early. Turo, you're on that early. Luxury rental cars, you're on that early. So how do you catch on to the next wave so early and then become a master and then provide value?
So what I do is I try to provide things from my client's perspective versus like my own like financial goals.
Okay.
The reason why I was able to catch sport betting so early is because like I trade stocks, you know what I mean? That shit is not easy.
Facts.
So if I'm trying to tell 100,000 people how to trade stocks, maybe like 10 of them gonna get it.
Right.
And 9 of them gonna lose everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So once I got into sports betting, I was like, everybody already watch sports.
Facts.
If I sign you up today, you make money tonight. There's no learning curve. You already know everything that you think you know about Kyrie and Luka and LeBron. You know everything. I don't got to teach you nothing. There's no learning curve. You know, so I was like, this is going to be more flammable because you don't got to sit down and watch YouTube videos for 6 months.
Got you.
You ready to go.
ASAP.
You know, and I was like, nah, this is going to take over because if stock groups are doing what they're doing right now, imagine what a sports group would do.
Bro.
You feel me? So that's why I was able to like kind of see that from like an early, like that was like 2020, bro. Like nobody had no sports chat. I got the biggest chat in the country now.
How many people or how many members?
We got 15,000 people in there.
And they've been every day, or mostly?
Bro,
varies.
Every hour.
Damn.
They hitting picks right now. I'm not even dropping today, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Dang. I know you got to get in the community for this, but if you could, what's like one thing you tell people that join your community when it comes to sports betting? Like, what is like one critical thing to look at? Because like, let's say you look at Kyrie, for example, like you said, you look at Kyrie, you like, all right, man, I know he's good for at least 25, 28 a game, right?
Right.
But if we're really looking at statistics and numbers, like what else are you looking at? Are you looking at who they're playing, the opponent? Are you looking at the streak? Are you looking at, okay, Kyrie's going to do this, but man, you know, Tim Hardaway Jr. might be out, or Luka been playing funny. Like, what's one thing you look for that people don't really see?
Yeah, we have like 10 layers of confirmation for every pick.
Okay.
And each pick takes about 30 to 45 minutes before we either say yes or say no. So, I mean, it takes some time.
Gotcha.
I'll be up to like 5 a.m. studying the list. But, yeah, we do look at things like injuries. We go as far as to look at birthdays. We're like, oh, he's going to go off because it's his birthday, or it's his daughter's birthday, or he just had a kid. You know, that motivates people. So you got to think about everything that goes into it. Even like right now, we got playoff runs. Everybody trying to get their seeding right and shit like that. So it's like if the Mavs are 11 seed, they got their back against the wall, they're trying to get in the plan.
Gotcha.
You expect Kyrie to drop 30.
Yeah.
You feel me? But if they number 2 seed and they trying to preserve their star players,
energy,
I'm taking Kyrie for the under. But everybody else is like, it's Kyrie. It's like, you got to slow down before you go in there. You got to figure out all the factors and then make your best prediction based off that.
No, that's an interesting point too, because you got to think, like you said, like playoffs, like depending on where they're at, the motivations. And with NBA is really tough, man, because I'm not gonna be honest, that's my favorite sport, but a lot of times, like, they really see unmotivated, man.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that motivates them is like a contract.
Yeah.
Or once they get to the ship, once they get to the playoffs to get a ring. But sometimes, like, man, they just kind of going with the win. And for somebody like you, who's a multimillionaire at 26, shit, what motivates you to like enter new industries and get new bags? Because I mean, you've done it.
I think it just comes with being so young and being so curious about things. I feel like a lot of people I don't want to call it like old money, but when you're like been wealthy for a long time or you amass your wealth very later on in life, they'd be one track minded.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a real estate millionaire and you 60, you buying another apartment complex.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get into sports betting.
For sure.
You're not gonna get into two-row. You're just gonna be like, I'm gonna just do it again.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nah, I see so many things. I see so many ways to get it. Let me try this. I don't care how much money I got. I just want to make sure that I try everything that's possible. You feel me?
Yeah. What you been curious about lately?
Lately, I've been looking in like event spaces, a lot of like multimedia production, things like that, you know, because people always need a place to record or do like a photo shoot. I've been looking into like fitness, like opening a gym and having a membership for that, different things like that. So,
is that what kind of like made you enter the nightlife club hospitality space for FYC?
That was like my first, like I guess you could say I dabbled in it. You know, I became a part owner. It's a couple other guys that I own it with. Real cool dude. Shout out to FYC. I just think that it would be a different challenge for me.
Gotcha.
Because most of my money is made like either residually or just digitally. You know, I think that's like the only thing where it's like I walk into the spot and that's me.
Yeah.
You feel me?
You can see it.
Yeah.
What's your for something like that when you have partners, what do you say, what's your strong point, right? Because essentially, I mean, of course people say, okay, we need capital for a partner, but like when you look at FYC, where do you feel like you add value at? Like, okay, I know I could come in and help with this part of the business.
I feel like with any business relationship, all the parties have to need each other. Because if you just, we just need some money, you can go get that from the bank.
You can get that loan.
But if you need a young dude who has charisma, energy, and is creative with marketing and can bring people to the spot, not only bring people, but have it open longer hours and more days a week, therefore increasing the bottom line, then we all get a bigger piece of the pie.
Let's talk about that right now, because you have true value online and offline, right? How does an entrepreneur get there? Because entrepreneurship is hard. You know what I'm saying? It's not always cool. You know what I'm saying? You make it look cool and make it look like something when people want to be a part of. So like, how do you build like that personal brand that people want to be a part of, while make sure you maintain actual business? Because sometimes a lot of people are flexing on the gram, they look good, but their bank accounts do not reflect it. Their business models don't reflect it. They don't got their numbers together, the documentation together. But you know what I'm saying, to be successful, you got to have all that. So how do you balance having that personal brand and being successful on the business front?
I feel like that was always my goal from the jump. Like when I first started my brand in 2016, I was like, I want entrepreneurship to look cool. Yeah. You feel me? It wasn't really like the coolest shit to do, because back in the day, everybody was just like, oh, he's selling shirts. Yeah. That shit kind of lame. I'm finna go be an engineer. I'm finna go be a doctor. I'm finna go be a lawyer. I'm just like, I want this to be the new cool. And now it is. And I feel like that just comes down to the aesthetic that you serve and the purpose. Because, we can get active when it come down to the dressing. We can get active when it come down to the cars. We can get active when it come down to the clothes. Like, I think it's bigger than just the aesthetic, because the value has to be there, you know? And I was like, I could use my Instagram to show y'all what I got. I could use it to show y'all how I got it. You feel me?
But at some point, you got to like turn it off, because people are always going to be coming to you as like a value. Like, oh, he got value. Let me pull this from him. Let me suck this from him. How do you combat that? Because it's energy draining. Yeah,
but I guess I could say it's kind of like a compound, like a digital compound. You can't get all the way to the middle without getting through this gate and this gate and this person and this person.
Yeah, you got to funnel through some people.
You done been through 6-7 chats by the time you on the phone with me. You're like, all right, I'm ready for the big dog consultation.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I charge $1,000 for 15 minutes on the phone. So it's like, by then, you already done been in 6-7 chats. You done been in a couple different groups. You done been to a couple different seminars by then. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like you get your value by the time you get to me, but if you don't get it by then, I'm paying. You go pay the fee.
Have you made the type of investment in your career? Like, have you did conversations with somebody that you wanted to be like, or has it been so you just really been on grind mode, learning, researching, and haven't had to actually have those one-on-ones with anybody, or like a mentorship?
I don't think I ever did a one-on-one with anybody, and that's not to say that those things aren't valuable, but it just depends on your goals. Okay. My goal wasn't to be like anybody else in the industry. Okay. I didn't like what I saw in the industry. Gotcha. So it came down to me like, all right, I got to create a whole new path. And that, I can't learn that from somebody who's never done it.
Right. But at this point, like when you're talking about you wanted to be that cool entrepreneur, you wanted to make it look cool. Was anybody, like for me, for example, lot of people don't know him, but he created Vice magazine. His name is moving right now, but it started off as a magazine in Montreal, Canada. They ended up realizing things were going digital. Then they started doing documentaries, and you see where Vice is now.
Right.
So that's somebody I would not maybe look like to be like them, but kind of follow like their blueprint or business model. Was there anybody that you did look like or see growing up that you were like, man, I like their hustle, I'm inspired by it?
Oh, I forget the guy's name. I think it was the dude that owned the Hundreds. Bobby Hundreds, what they call him.
Gotcha.
So at the time, I was watching nothing but Bobby Hundreds interviews and figuring out how he got his brand to blow up all in LA and things like that. So what he was doing is he was basically faking it till he made it, but for a good cause.
Okay.
Like he would go to different stores on what was it, Melrose,
Oh,
Fairfax,
Melrose.
all of them.
Yeah, Fairfax. Both.
So he would go and be like, "Yo, like you haven't heard of the Hundreds? Like everybody up and down the street is carrying it.
Yeah.
Like here, I can plug you in with 100 shirts." So he would basically pay all his homeboys to go in there and sell them out, and then had the store be like, "Oh, like this shit is hot. Give me 200." And then do it over and over to the point where the foot traffic, the organic traffic started coming. People started seeing people wearing it. They were like, "Okay, this is it."
You still think that could work again right now?
It's gonna be a lot of motherfuckers walking into your store saying they got the next shit. But back in the day, I don't know, it was really inspiring because he didn't necessarily pay for ads.
True.
He created his own organic hype, you know?
If somebody were to create their own organic hype now, today, you think that would be more like a digital, like a, what they call it? Like those digital farms or?
Like the NFTs?
To where it's like we're in a room, it's 4 of us right now. Let's say we had 100 people in the room.
Right.
And we're all plugging the same thing at one time. They do it with, to make things go viral.
Okay.
It's like I can't remember. It's some type of farm they call it.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Do you think that would be effective?
Yeah, yes and no. Because so many people are figuring out how to leverage social media. So instead of one person on stage, it's 100 people on stage. You're just like, who do I pay attention to?
All the time.
Yeah.
It's just super busy. And I know you talked about, you did like this Tesla example. Like, hey, if there's 40 Teslas on Turo and you're the 41st, you're still going to make business, right? So you don't really believe in being oversaturated, in the market oversaturation?
And it just depends. Like, it always depends on your goals. If your goal is to make a killing on that Tesla versus just pay the car note and have the car pay for itself, then you want to be like number 1 and number 2. Okay. But if you just want to buy it and have it pay for itself, then it don't matter what number Tesla you got. Somebody going to grab it.
Nah, for sure. And that really applies to, you can even say that applies to like the clothing brand or any type of market. Like, there's hundreds, thousands, millions of people doing the same thing.
Right.
It's just like, what's going to make that person stand out. So like when you're doing these consultations, like how do you actually see within people like this what makes you stand out, or you kind of like leverage sort of like, hey, you got to see within yourself and I can help you elevate?
I encourage people to discover themselves because you can't pay for a consultation every time you need to look in the mirror. But at the same time, I feel like I've helped so many people that I'm starting to see similar characteristics and kind of know, okay, like this person acts like this person, so they both need this, so I start to see patterns and things like that. But it definitely comes from investing in yourself and building up your own like self-awareness. Then you can be more successful based on that.
What do you think every entrepreneur needs, like within them, whether it's hustle, tenacity, that dog, that fight? What do you think everyone needs to like really become successful, that they have to have within them?
A good reason.
Like their why?
Whatever wakes you up in the morning.
What would be that for you? What's that for you?
I don't know because it changes over time. When you don't got nothing, your reason is I'm hungry. But when you got everything, your reason is, if you're educating, you want to keep educating, you want to keep inspiring. You want to keep breaking ground in different things, So if your goal is just make $1 million, then the shit, I'm done. But now I've transitioned into this space of education where now it's not about the dollar amount, but it's about how many people I can impact and how many people I can teach.
So like when it comes to like as far as reading material on education, what are you reading?
I'm not necessarily reading things. I do like a lot of like watching videos.
YouTube University.
Yeah, I watch podcasts too. I fly a lot. Like if I got somebody in LA or Cali, or Miami that wants to do something, I'm like, shit, I'm on the plane.
Let's go.
You know, let's sit down, let's grab some food. You know, and the grab food thing, like I feel like that gets very like misconstrued. Yeah. A lot of people was like, oh, I'm gonna go talk to a million today. I'm gonna offer him some food.
Yeah. Let me pick your brain and buy you lunch.
You know, like I don't want lunch. Yeah. I can get my own lunch. You feel me? Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to two people who are on the same like level, then lunch is a given. Yeah. How many yachts are we buying after lunch? You feel me?
There's levels to this right now.
It's different. So we're able to connect that way because we have like a mutual respect and mutual notoriety, you know, so it's easier to sit down with people. So yeah, I tend to do a lot of in-person meetings and things like that.
No, it makes sense. It's kind of where we're at right now with our brand COSIGN. We're based out of Dallas, but we realize that, you know, it's cool to have like the social community, but you got to get in front of people. Like you can touch, you have to be able to reach them, touch them, have them see you in the community and show that same value and support. So when we're like, you know, Houston's down the street, Miami and Atlanta is places we visited frequently. We're going to have to start going there more monthly, doing these sit-down interviews, talking with people. Because for us, I'll be completely transparent. Kind of like with you, like when you're on the same level with somebody, having those meetings is valuable for both of you guys. For us, is doing these type of conversations because, one, it allows, you know, me an opportunity to meet you in person, you know, share your story, your value. Somebody from our platform is going to see that and salute us for reaching out to you, but then also go back to you. It might be a client, they might be a supporter, they might buy the clothes, the book. I mean, not the book, grow into the community, a membership. So it's just like it's value exchange multiple times. Exactly. Not just the one-off. And I feel like that's kind of where people mess up, though, is that they stay so much on social that they don't actually build real relationships with people. Exactly. That's one thing the game is missing. How do you feel about relationship building in entrepreneurship?
I think it's probably like the most important thing. Man. What I try to compare it to is like you're a fish in the ocean. If you by yourself, you're gonna get 8. Facts. But if it's 1,000 of y'all, then y'all could look like a big fish and nobody gonna mess with you. Nah. You feel me? So that just comes down to creating those relationships and being valuable and not being a leech to nobody, you know, and just constantly helping people out so they can help you. And shit, the loyalty gonna take you farther than anything else.
Man, you said real, not being a leech. I feel like that's what's one thing. People may see you, right? But like we said earlier, they just want what you have, right? Or want to soak all your like knowledge, information. But like, what's the value exchange? Like, what am I? You know, I mean, it doesn't have to be like, what do I get? But at the same point, it has to be like, I've done this so many times, it has to be mutually beneficial. Exactly. And I don't know why I feel like, I don't know if it's entitlement, I don't know if it's the culture right now.
It's a lot of entitlement, and it's also a lot of survival. You know, people not necessarily thinking about what they can do for somebody else. They're thinking about themselves because that's the only thing they can think about.
Nah, that's real. I gotta eat.
Yeah, I gotta eat.
Yeah, I can't.
My daughter gotta eat.
Nah, that's real. And then, you know, it tends to like mess with their character because they're just trying to put food on their plate.
Exactly.
But everything comes with strategy, though, man. Like you gotta have strategy and everything. The way you've been moving, like, what's been your strategy to kind of get you from that point to where, like you said, you started from humble beginnings? Like at first, was it okay? I know you didn't. You said you didn't want to go to school. You went to school and you dropped out. Same thing. I didn't finish school. I had to get money. But what was your thought process around that? Like, where's your family from?
I'm Nigerian.
Nigerian. So I'm Panamanian. So my parents wanted me to go to school the whole 9, and I was like, nah, I can't do this. But they supported me. Did your parents support you?
My parents didn't know.
They didn't know?
Nah, they had no clue.
What did you tell them?
Nah, so I was kind of like talking to my mom a lot whenever I was like, you know, struggling in the engineering school. My dad, he was the engineer who was trying to get me to follow his footsteps. I wasn't telling him nothing.
Yeah, not for you.
I was telling my mom, I'm like, hey, this might not be it. She was just like, nah, we praying for you. Like, you can do it. I'm just like, you come up here, take one of these tests. Yeah. Nah, for that real. Shit, you gonna leave a different person. Nah, for real. Know? So I just kept working on the brand. I didn't want them to think I was distracted. So I didn't tell them until it was worth millions of dollars. And by that point, you can't really argue with me. Yeah. You feel me?
What was their reaction when you finally told them?
My mom, she was happy because I was doing what I wanted to do, and I was, you know, very successful in that. My dad was he felt like it was kind of like a slap in the face. You know, he was like this whole time I had no clue. Yeah. You know, so He cool now. He chilling.
Yeah, but you know they saw successful business. So, I mean, at least they kind of like soften the blow a little bit.
It does definitely. It does.
They're like, hey, I'm not doing school, but hey, this is what I built. You know, and I could really help the family with this.
Man, I get him a couple cars, he'll be fine.
Let's talk about that too, like family rise when it comes to success, right? I don't want to say that like family has their hands out because some families don't, right? But like, how do you approach people who want from you, like with their hands out?
First of all, it depends on who you are.
Gotcha.
Number one, family. I feel like that's always gonna be like I'm always take care of my family
For sure.
But not necessarily in a handout sense, but in let me show you how to do this sense.
Gotcha.
What
they say, teach somebody how to fish.
So they can feed themselves.
Yeah,
feed
feed
just
themselves.
Them a fish, they're gonna feed themselves for the night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the type to like teach people how to fish.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you where the fish is at in the water.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you what you got to put on the hook. Like I'm gonna tell you everything.
Gotcha.
But at that point, if I give you all the tools and all the sauce and you don't want to fish, then I know it's more about entitlement from you to me versus like entitlement from you to yourself. Like you think that I should carry you versus you wanting to carry yourself. At that point, I'm gonna know your character and I'm gonna know how to move from there.
Nah, character is everything. You really gotta study like people's intentions. You know what I'm saying, how they move and what at the end, what's their end goal with everything.
Yeah.
Speaking of end goal, I know you said like you're still curious, you're still learning, but like what is your end goal? When is enough for you?
I think the one thing I love about my job is that there is no end goal.
Right.
If I want to impact the whole world,
you can.
People getting born every day.
Really?
There is no end goal, and I find so much excitement in helping people change their lives and pay their bills and, send me all these stories, like crazy stories, So it's like it never gets old to me, and I'm going to just keep doing it until I get old.
Nah, what would be your like, I don't want to say favorite quote, but I'll say like one piece of advice or a quote that you would tell any entrepreneur when on the verge of giving up?
On the verge of giving up? Damn.
Because you got to think, a lot of people may do the same thing. They wake up, go to YouTube University, searching, researching, but like their execution just probably isn't to where they want it to be, and they don't really hit those parts. So it's like, man, maybe this isn't for me. So I think that's one thing I talk about entrepreneurs. When is it time to quit or pivot? And what would you tell that person if they're like, man, I don't know if I should quit, or maybe I'm not doing it right?
I think it's important to fail fast. Okay. Don't spend too much time on something if you genuinely think it's not working. Also, good things don't come easy at the same time. Give it your best shot. And if your best shot ain't the right shot, then maybe looking at something else. But also, like passion makes profit. You feel me?
Yeah.
If you care about something, you going to wake up and that's going to be the first thing on your mind. If you don't care about something, you're going to wake up and be like, why'd I even wake up? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like it comes down to what you want to do and why you're doing it.
So speaking of passion, like I know you've been doing these reels of like, 10 things you do to make income, or, a day of life of a 26-year-old millionaire. If you had to like put those in rankings, let's say just your 5 forms of income that you're most passionate about, what would they be right now?
I think my real estate portfolio, I'm really passionate. Interior design gives me like a certain feeling of like peace. I think that's like something I really am picking up. You feel me? Like, oh, this color gonna go good, this couch gonna go. That shit cool to me.
Feng shui.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it makes money. So that's really cool. Another thing I'm passionate about is I think the sports betting chat, because I think that gets the most testimonies. So I'm really happy with how other people's results have been since I started that. And everything else is kind of just for, not necessarily for show, but just to show example.
Gotcha.
To be like, all right, whenever you get money from one thing, you could roll it into 2-3 different things. But I got to lead by example when I do that.
Nah, for sure, because there's always a saying of you need 7 streams of income. But what I figured out too, man, is like one thing you do can lead to 7 streams instead of trying to do 7 different things.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Is that what would you agree with that?
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
Okay, no, that's dope. I definitely got to ask you this because we're big on cosign. Like, who do you cosign though? Like, who is another entrepreneur in Houston or wherever that you like, man, y'all need to check him out just as much as y'all check out what I got going on?
Houston is like, I don't know if that's because I live here, but Houston is coming.
Okay.
Houston is coming. It's a lot of people. Shout out to my boy Ryan New. He's been doing his thing in the fashion industry.
Okay.
He's been going crazy. Shout out to Tori. She's been going crazy. Man, shout out to Leaux, Leo. You know, she was one of the first people to co-sign me. So
that's real.
Y'all better tap in with her. It's crazy to see what she's done, you know, from where we came from, humble beginnings, you know. Just hyping each other up, not having nothing. Now we both got it.
Nice,
you know, Houston's just crazy, man. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I feel like everybody doing their thing, and if they're not doing their thing, they get into it.
Got you. And I like to ask this before I wrap you up, man. If you lost everything and had to get it back, what would you do differently this time?
I want to do a damn thing. I just run back the same play, bro.
The same route too.
Same route. Start a clothing brand, blow it up, and then use that money to do a whole bunch of other different shit.
Do you think that the same method would work? Like no ads, just straight using influence?
I think it's easier now.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what's. I've seen a lot of different opportunities have come along in the clothing game. A lot of new manufacturers. A lot of people have manufacturer lists, so it's easier for people to get connected to overseas.
Exactly.
Instead of like earlier, like man, how do you even start?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Would you still recommend people using overseas manufacturers, or to start off like, man, start off small, start off local?
Yeah, I would definitely start off local because you can run into a lot of trouble with overseas. You know, it's a sampling process. There's a language barrier. There's also that time barrier because when I was in college, I was putting in orders overseas, but I'm fresh out of the library 2 in the morning, and my guys overseas is just waking up. We arguing about the designs till 6, 7 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I got to go to class.
Nah, I feel
So it is pretty hectic if you don't manage your time right or if you don't have somebody appointed to like communicating. But yeah, if you want to do everything at once, I would say start domestically, start locally so you can walk into the shop and iron out the wrinkles before they ship overseas with it. You feel me? So yeah, I think that makes a little more sense for beginners.
Bet you. And last question, man, how do you align your days? So like there'll be like entrepreneurs that say they wake up at 5 every morning, go to the gym 5 to 6, shower, breakfast, come back, they read, then they meditate, then they pray, then they go to breakfast, then they work on, you know, strict email. Like they block their time frames off to where like at this time frame, I'm only focusing on emails. This time frame, I'm only doing outreach.
Right.
Like if you had to say, did you have a daily routine that you kind of stick to?
No.
Whatever.
I just do whatever, man. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of just go with the flow. I've never been the type of person to have a routine. That's why I wasn't really like good with school. And I feel like it's kind of authoritative, and I don't respond well to that. You know, even if I wrote the schedule, I'm just like, man, I ain't gonna listen to me. You know what I mean? I'll be like, I'm gonna wake up when I'm ready to wake up. I'm gonna go do this when I'm ready to do it. You know what I mean? I feel like that peace and that freedom is even more liberating than, oh, I'm so successful, I need to block out time to do emails. I'll pay somebody to do emails. I'm going to the gym. I'm gonna go hoop with my boy. You feel me?
Nah, that's for sure. You said that peace. I gotta talk about that. Do you feel like money buys you peace, happiness, freedom, or all of the above?
All of the above.
You think money can really buy you happiness?
For sure.
I mean, I feel like money. I say money buys you peace, and that peace allows you to do everything else.
Yeah.
That peace brings you happiness and freedom.
Yeah, money gives you the opportunity to find out what makes you happy.
That's a good point. That's really a good point. Because, you know, people, I always tell people too, if you're broke, man, you're working from a struggle mindset. Like, you can't really get creative. You can't really figure out the next move because you're just trying to find food today, trying to find shelter today. So, like, if you're broke, like, having money allows you that time to be able to figure it out what you're passionate about, to be happy. And then it gives you freedom. Like you said, you create your own skills. You do what you want to. So, like, all that ties into each other and plays off each other.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Man, I sure appreciate your time, IG. This is the first interview done in Houston, probably like in 2 years. We'll be here for a while. I definitely want to make sure y'all please follow the guy Go Vic. Man, he has a lot of value providing to the community. I'm talking about he's running it up. If you're in Houston too, go check out the spot, FYC Houston. Where's it located at?
108 Main Street.
Yes, please go check that out. Any last words you want to get to the people who want to lead them with, like a powerful quote or something?
Do you.
2 words. At all times. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. You can follow COSIGN Magazine. And, you know, we got a surprise coming up in May. So if you like this interview, man, holla at us in May when we come back to Houston. We're doing an event. And hopefully, you know, saying my guy Vic will pull up.
I'm there.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all. Y'all take it easy.